already have plans to head on out. So twin day, let's go. First part of the reserve that we're heading into here is called the Little Cherry Forest. Animals here in the forest are known for their natural colorings and markings, which help them with blending in with all of these trees. Now, a lot of times you do have to look really hard to find animals in the forest.
What?
If you take a look over to the right, we got a pretty good view right now of an okapi. The okapi looks like it's related to zebra since it has stripes there on its legs. However, it's not. That is instead the only living relative of the giraffe. Okapis are generally very reclusive, and because of that, they were not discovered by Westerners until 1901. Over to our left, here is a saddle-billed stork. That bird stands about 5 feet tall, has a wingspan of about 9 feet. Gathering up some sticks there. Now over to the right on top of the hillside, you'll see that there is a nest on top of these bushes here. There's another saddle-billed stork up there, so he's adding some sticks to that nest there. I'm gonna bring them on back to her, or she's bringing them to him. I'm not quite sure which is which. Didn't get a good look at them. On the far side of the watering hole, there's a black rhino. Black rhinos are generally solitary and nocturnal. Unfortunately, they're also critically endangered. There are less than 5,000 black rhinos left in the world today. Their numbers are still dropping, and that's primarily due to poaching for their horns. And their horns are only made out of keratin. That's the exact same thing as what your hair and fingernails are made out of. So technically, it's not even a true horn. Over to the left, really horrible view. But if you take a look through these bushes that are here in the valley, you may notice that there is a bongo laying down back there. One of the antelopes found here. Bongos generally stay in very dense vegetation where they blend in very well with their surroundings. They're usually quite difficult to see. We're heading in the direction of the Safi River, so we're going to see what's going on over there. Usually where there's a source of water is a good spot to look for animals. The Safi River can be a great place to find pink-backed pelicans. They're the smallest of the pelican species. Only pink during mating season. It is just their skin that turns pink, not their feathers. There's a couple of hippos behind us as well. Usually up ahead is a better spot to look for hippos, so we're going to head there. The hippos are amongst the largest and are the most dangerous animal in Africa. That's because they have incisors that reach lengths of 18 inches long. They will use those for defense. Hippos will generally stay submerged in water during the daytime to keep from overheating. They're a nocturnal species, so it's usually nighttime and they'll be coming out on the banks grazing. Sometimes some hippos around these islands here or over by the waterfall, so sort of keep an eye out for them. And then beneath us right here are Nile crocodiles. The Nile crocodile is the largest of the crocodilian species in Africa. They can reach lengths of up to 20 feet long. Like all reptiles, they're ectothermic. That's a fancy scientific way of saying they're cold-blooded. What that means is that they are relying 100% on the environment to regulate that body temperature. They don't generate any sort of body heat whatsoever on their own. That's why they're frequently found sunning themselves on the banks of waters during the daytime. It is just in order to warm up some.
What?
Over to the right, we're passing by one of the more unique trees found out on the reserve. It's called a baobab tree, but it's also known as an upside-down tree because it looks like it has its roots coming right out the top. It's just leafless right now, though, and it remains that way for about 9 months out of the year. We're now heading into a different ecosystem, so a little bit of a change of scenery here. This is the savanna. the grasslands of Africa, and the savanna is home to some of Africa's most iconic species. You can see Hartman's mountain zebras there, and beside giraffe. We'll get a better view of them in just a little bit. Now up ahead to the left is a den. It belongs to a pack of African wild dogs, also known as the African painted dogs for their beautiful coats. Most active in the early morning and early evening hours, so it should be nap time for them right now, and they like to nap just to the right of the den. The African painted dog is considered the most successful hunter out of the savannah. They have a success rate that far exceeds that of any big cat even, because they hunt as such an organized pack. Their pack is very important to them. They are one of the few species that will care for any sick or injured members of their pack. A small herd of sable antelope over to the left. Very majestic looking species. They have horns that can reach lengths of up to 5 feet long. And lots of towering structures all over savannah, especially in this area here. Those are termite mounds. They're constructed out of a combination of dirt, dung, and saliva. They can be over 30 feet tall in some areas of Africa. On average, though, they're about 8 feet tall, which is still rather impressive, considering it's tiny little termite that built those mounds. Coming up now on those Hartman's mountain zebras. You can identify the zebra species by their stripe pattern. These ones have very narrow stripes in most of their body, with the exception of the rear quarters, where they've got those very broad stripes. Also, each individual zebra has their own uniqueness to the stripes as well, so they can use that as a means of identifying each other in the herd. Typical herd size for this particular zebra species is only 1 stallion and between 3 to 5 mare. So they are found in fairly small herds. The young zebra over to the left there. The gray colored herd hanging out over to the right are wildebeest. The wildebeest is one of the animals best known for its migration. About 1.5 million individuals will make a trek every year between about 500 to 1,000 miles. They'll do that just to follow the rain to get to greener grasses. And coming up now on those Maasai giraffe. Before we get there though, take a look over to the right. You can see back by the bushes there's a cute little antelope laying down. That's one of the springbok. They get their name from their ability to spring straight up in the air repeatedly, about 6 to 8 feet. You can also leap forward about 13 feet in just one jump. And the tan-colored antelopes that you see right here are eland, the largest of the antelope species.
Yeah, I see.
Good view of these giraffe now. When a giraffe is first born, it is only about 6 feet tall. But a fully grown adult giraffe like these can reach heights of 18 to 20 feet tall. Just enjoying some of those bushes there, eating all those leaves. Over to the left, you're looking for a troop of mandrills. Mandrills are the largest of the monkey species. Males have bright blue and red markings like Rafiki. The brightest one would be the dominant male. They can be a very shy species, so a lot of times they're hiding out amongst the bushes, behind the rocks, or along the back ledge. Just sort of keep an eye out for those mandrills. You might be lucky enough to see one. And then over to the right, coming up on an African elephant. Both male and female African elephants have tusks. Herds are made up of females and juveniles, with males typically leaving the herd, going out on their own by the time they're about 12 to 15 years old, and females will stay with the herd their entire life. We're going to see if we can find a herd of elephants now. Herds are led by the matriarch of the family, one of the eldest of the females. She'll be one of the ones with all the knowledge and experience in the area, which she needs because she controls all the movements of the herd. Spot up just up ahead a little ways where a herd likes to hang out, so hopefully they'll be around. Why they come here all the time is all of this that's around us now. It's red clay. It is a very important mineral supplement for elephants. And if you look at the walls, you see lots of scrape marks there. That's elephants using their tusks to break off a piece of that clay, and then they eat it. Elephant herd right up ahead. These are greater flamingos here. The greater flamingo is not only the largest of the flamingo species, but also the palest pink. They get their color from their diet. They'll eat a lot of brine shrimp and other crustaceans, which are very high in beta-carotene. When flamingos are first born, they're not pink at all, they're pale gray. It takes a couple of years of eating that shrimp before they get all their pink color. One more look at those elephants. There's white rhinos over to our left there. White rhinos are fairly social, so usually found in small groups. They weigh upwards of about 5,000 pounds and can charge at about 35 miles an hour. Now, they're also capable of galloping just like a horse does, where all 4 feet are off the ground at the same time. We've got a pretty good view of those rhinos. They are not seeing us clearly at all, though. Rhinos have very poor vision, but they've got excellent hearing to compensate for that. You can probably see a lot of movement of those ears going on. The cone shape of their ears helps them to really hone in on what direction a sound is coming from. Now we are entering into cheetah territory here. Cheetahs are the fastest land mammal. They can reach speeds of 60 miles an hour in only 3 seconds, but they can only sustain that for a very short distance. There's a few things very unique about cheetahs. They're the only cat with non-retractable claws, and that lets them keep a really good traction when running so fast. They'll hunt during the daytime, whereas most cats are much more nocturnal as far as hunting habits go. Cheetahs are also the only ones out of all the big cats that can purr. These rocks right here are known as a Kobe rock formation, and these types of formations give good vantage points for animals to be able to hop up there, take a look around, get a little bit more like a giraffe's perspective of what's going on out on the savanna. And it looks like we are coming up on some ostriches here. Even though ostriches are birds, they're far too heavy to be capable of flight, but they can run about 40 miles an hour. They have razor-sharp talons they can use for defense since they can't fly off when faced with danger like a flighted bird would likely do. Take a look back at those rocks. Private lions right there. That lion would be the one that defends the territory, protects any cubs that there may be, while the lionesses do the hunting at night. Lions are nocturnal, and just like domestic cats, they spend about 16 to 20 hours out of every day just laying around, resting and sleeping. So not a lot of activity out of them till later on in the evenings.
Beautiful.
Waiting for you to leave right.
And if it doesn't yet, as you get older, you will.
And let this rhino take a few more steps forward there, so we're not pinning it between the truck and the rock.
See the lady one.
Yeah, she's up on the rock.
Keep an eye out for a little family of warthogs that lives over to the left here. Warthogs are the largest of the burrowing animals. Whenever they're in their burrows, they're always going to be facing that opening. That way they can see what's going on outside. It does also put their tusks right there at that opening, just in case they get any unwanted visitors. A lot of times when they're laying down during the day, they're just sort of looking like hairy rocks. We'll see if they're over on the other side here. There's white rhino and ostrich again. Also coming up on a nest of ostrich eggs over to the right in the grass. Each ostrich egg weighs about 3 pounds. It's equal to about 2 dozen chicken eggs. Ostrich eggs have extremely strong shells. They're strong enough that just about any one of us could stand on top of one of those eggs and not crack that shell. The woods post right up ahead signals we've reached the end of the reserve, so we are now on our way back to the village. But before we head back, the best part of the story right here. Check out the cute little goats. These are Nigerian dwarf goats. There are lots of benefits to the wartime having those goats. There's the obvious goat's milk. But also goats do tend to help out the ecosystem around them by eating a lot of the plants that other animals will not eat. So they're helping to ensure that there's a good balance of plant life available to support a wide range of local wildlife species. Every animal, humans included, do have their role to play in an ecosystem, so for goats it's a lot of gardening to be done. Well, we're on our way back to the village. As I said, we are heading all the way back to the departure dock that we came from. We're going to be passing by a couple of other docks along the way. We are not going to be stopping at them, so remain fully seated as we make our way